Salutations and welcome to the farm. Thank you for joining me up here in my craft room in my 1902 farmhouse, and today we are working on week 28 of our Heirloom Afghan crochet along, and this is a beautiful block. This is the boxed shell stitch. Look at how pretty and delicate and beautiful this is. Are you ready to get started on it? I think so. Go ahead and grab a size H crochet hook and whatever color you've determined to be color A for your Afghan, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's get started for this block. It's block 28, the boxed shell stitch. We're going to use our size H crochet hook and whatever color you've determined to be color A. For me, that is this beautiful white color. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start with a slip knot there, and go ahead and get that on your hook. And to get this block started, we're going to chain 29 loosely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27, 28, and 29. So there's our beginning chain for this block. Let's move on to row 1. For row 1, we're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. Now remembering that the loop on our hook does not count, we're going to start right here at this chain right here. 1, 2, 3. Here is our 4th chain from our hook. We're going to place a double crochet in that chain. There we are. Now we're going to start a repeat as we work across our chain here. Our repeat starts with a chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip the next 3 chains. So skip 1, skip 2, skip 3. We're skipping those. So that means we're going to work in this chain right here. And we're going to double crochet in the next 2 chains. So this is the first of those 2. So we're placing a double crochet right here in this chain here. So there's 1. And then placing a double crochet in the very next chain. There's 2. And we're going to repeat that until we get to the very last 5 chains down here. So repeating that, we're just going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to place a double crochet in each of the next 2 chains right here. So here's 1. Sometimes the beginning of these blocks, things are a little flimsy. It's a little hard to work with, but we'll get it. And here is 2. Repeating, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to place a double crochet in each of the next 2 chains. So there's 1. And there's 2. Repeating 1, 2, 3 chains, skipping 1, 2, 3 chains, and a double crochet in each of the next 2. Are you noticing what I'm noticing? I can hardly stand it. I have just a little bit of blue lint from another stash of thread right there, and it is irritating me. I've got to get that off of my block. There we go. And so here we are to the last 5, and we're going to repeat this one more time. 1, 2, 3 chains. We're skipping 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go ahead and place a double crochet in each of these very last 2 chains here from our original chain. 1, and that last one's always a little tricky. There's 2. So let's take a look at what we have here for our row 1. For row 1, we have 5 of these little chain 3 spaces. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little chain 2 pillars. Keeping in mind that these stitches that we skipped right here in this chain, these are going to count as a double crochet. So that's the end of row 1. Let's move on to row 2. For row 2, we're going to chain 3 and turn 1, 2, and 3. and we're going to turn our work. Now this chain up 3 counts as a double crochet, and it will count as a double crochet for the subsequent rows that we work on. Now we're not going to do anything with this double crochet right here, but we're going to go here to these 3 chains. This is going to be the next thing that we're going to work on. We're going to place 5 double crochet into the center chain, and that's right here. We have 1, 2, 3 chains. Right here in this center chain, we're going to place 5 double crochet. Now it's going to be difficult to get 2 loops, but do your best if you can. When you go into that chain, get as much of that chain as you can get. It's difficult, I'm telling you. So going right here to our center chain, we have 1, 2, 3 chains right here in the center one. We're going to go ahead, I'm going to try to collect 2. No, I'm going to do 1. I'm going to go here, I'm just going to go right into that chain, and we're going to complete 5 double crochet to create a shell. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now when I tell you to go into a chain, I usually tell you to make sure you get 2 loops on your hook, front loop and back loop. When working with these chains, especially with this pattern, I'm only getting 1 loop. I want this little peak right here to have 2 strands, so it is stronger, and I want more real estate for those 5 double chain to go into, those 5 double crochet. So it's okay that I just have 1 strand of that chain to work in. I think that's okay, and this is going to make a lovely, lovely shell for us. Now the rest of this row is relatively simple. We're going to skip over these 2 double crochet again, and we're going to go right here to our chain 3 in the center, and we're going to place 5 double crochet. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. How simple is that? And we're just going to have these beautiful shells all the way across. Go ahead and complete a shell in this chain, the center of this space here, this one here, and this one here at the end. And I'll meet up with you right here before we finish off our row. And 5. Now we have our double crochet here and our chain up 3. We're going to double crochet into the top of this beginning chain right here. So we're just going to place a double crochet right there at the beginning of that chain. And there we go. Let's take a look at row 2. So looking at our work here, we have these little arches, right? These little loops, and then we have these shells across the top. Aren't those pretty? Let's move on to our next row and see how this square develops. So moving on to row 3, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. We're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. Now we've discussed it before. This double crochet right here does not count as the next. This is our first. So we're going to double crochet right here in this very next double crochet. Placing a double crochet right there. Now as I look at our block, I can see we've got these 2 here and then a row of shells. I'm going to say that this is going to be another just block of 2 to kind of give us some symmetry. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to skip the next 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. We're going to place a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So in this stitch right here, after we skipped 3, this is our next stitch right here, placing a double crochet and placing a double crochet in the next stitch after that. And so you can see we are getting that pattern where we're going to have these loops and then shells. And so we're just creating another little pillar here in between. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to place a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. How simple. Who knew you could make such beautiful designs with such simplicity? Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and here's 2. Let's do that one more time. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go ahead and double crochet in that very last double crochet. And because we need that symmetry, we've got our chain up 3 right here. We're going to go ahead and place a double crochet in that chain at the very top of that chain up 3 right there. So we've got that symmetry. So as we look at our block, we have our spaces and our little pillars here, our shells, and then we've got another row of pillars. So as we turn our work to do our next row, we're going to have a bunch of little shells again. So I'm going to repeat the next row with you, and then I'm going to turn you loose to finish the block on your own. Because now it's just a repeat. It's a repeat of rows 2 and rows 3 until our block is the approximate size that we need it for our Afghan. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work. We're going to go to the chain 3s right here, and we're going to place 5 double crochet right here in this center chain, just like what we did before. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those 5 double crochets, they take up a lot of real estate, don't they? We're not going to chain anything. We're not going to do anything other than moving on to the next chain 3 space right here. We're going to find that middle chain, and we're going to place 5 double crochet in that middle chain. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there's another beautiful shell. Skipping over these 2 pillars here, going to our chain 3 space and going to our center chain, we're going to place 5 double crochet in that center chain. 2, 3, 4, and 5. What a simple pattern, and it creates such beauty. Skipping the pillar, going to our chain 3s and going to that center chain, completing 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skipping over our pillar, going to our chain 3, going to the center chain and completing 5. One more time here for this row. 2, 3, 4, and 5. No chains. We're going to skip over this first pillar and we're going to go to this chain 3 up right here. We're going to go to the very top of this chain 3 and we're just going to place a double crochet. And sometimes, like I said, it's a little hard to get in there, sometimes a little tricky. But there we go. And let's take a look at row 4. That this is going to be a beautiful block when it's done. Now don't worry about these edges looking a little wonky. Once you get the edging on there, that's going to even it out real nice and pretty. What a pretty little stitch. So you're going to repeat rows 2 and 3 until this is approximately 7 inches square. We'll match it up to one of our prior weeks for the blocks that we did. I'm going to go ahead and work on this a little bit, and then I will be back when I have this about the right size and we'll measure it up. So keep working and I'll meet up with you when our block is approximately 7 inches square. And one last double crochet right here in the top of our chain 3. And I think we're about where we need to be. Let's go ahead and grab our block from before. Let's see how this one measures up. Keeping in mind that this will stretch into shape once we get our edging on and get everything attached. There we go. Look at that. That's about as close as we're going to get. When we get our edging on, it will all shape out nicely. You can block this if you want to, but I don't believe you need to. But look how nice this is with these beautiful little pillars and these little shells. Isn't that pretty? All these little arches that it creates. Now we have these openings down here, these pillars with the arches down here. You want to make sure that you finish the same way up here so it's symmetrical. Try not to finish off with your shells. Try to make sure you finish off with these chain 3 spaces. You're not going to finish off your yarn. When you get done with this final row, don't finish off. You're going to use this same yarn to finish off round 1 and round 2 of your edging, so don't finish off. This is your edging color as well. So go ahead and complete this and then get your edging on. You've got one more thing to do. Make sure that you get yourself a little tag. Go ahead and write on the tag week 28 boxed shell stitch for your Heirloom Afghan crochet along. Attach that to your block and then go ahead and set it aside with your other blocks so that you have everything ready. So when we're ready to join everything, they're numbered and you know where everything goes. All right, friends, that's it for week 28. We're almost to the halfway mark. This is a beautiful, beautiful little stitch. It's not real thick. If you'd like to make a blanket out of this, you can. It's going to be more light and airy. Just keep in mind that if you would like to make a bigger project with this, your starting chain is going to be in multiples of 5 plus 4. So that's it from the craft room here today on the farm. Thank you so much for joining me as we completed this beautiful square for our Heirloom Afghan crochet along. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll see you next week where we work on block 29, and it is called the alternate spike single crochet. All right, friends, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.